October.
It's been a while. Sorry, guys.
Well, it is what it is. So, you know what? I've been Skyping in with several of you, and we've been doing prints and training. So those of you that have Skyped in with us at least have a chance to know more realistically what your printer is.
I forgot about that. We've been spending a lot of time.
Yeah, we've been Skyping 2 people every day. So Les Music has done a great job at helping me go through a user experience. Harold at Unity Christian.
Yep. Ken and
we have people at
Brian.
Brian.
University of Sydney.
Yeah, 2 universities I've talked to.
Yeah.
So we're getting some traction here. You know what we should do? We should send out an email when we actually ship something. Like a little celebration email.
Absolutely that. And I was thinking about doing something else. And guys, correct me if I'm wrong and tell me what your thoughts are. We could actually do these Skype calls if we really wanted to, using Justin.tv as well.
You can, but they can't control the computer.
That's
okay,
true.
okay.
That's
you
true.
Guys who are out
there.
This
is cool. This is very cool.
As your printer comes up, I'm trying to do Skype training before we ship for everybody. So, either me or Hutch. Hutch jumped in yesterday because I was actually fried, and he took most of the training for me. Good job, Hutch. So, if we get to you, and we're going to, then when it's your turn, try to get set up with 2 screens. Let me tell you why. The one screen we do cross loop with, which is no spamware, no nothing. You just put it on your system. It only is active if you're using it. It doesn't run in the background. Runs cross loop, and that allows you to control the printer from your place. You are actually pushing the printers while we're setting up the printer, and you're pushing the buttons. And that's important because you'll actually be homing the bed with the camera there. So it's just like we're in the same room. It's just like you're watching this, and you get to know exactly what it takes for you to run that printer. And I think that's really important. So, for what it's worth, it's a huge jump in experience. I did a Skype call on Friday afternoon, and it went well, but them not being able to control the buttons was different. Anybody who had the 2 screens, them using the buttons, it just goes so much better. It's a more realistic, and it's a much better flying the airplane experience. So,
all right, DeCosta, two screen ready. Nice.
Nice.
Yes, John Hubbard. Yes, there's a spreadsheet on the HYREL site. Yes.
Well, I will definitely be in Los Angeles in the next 3 or 4 weeks for sure, and I will be there for 4 or 5 days. So we're glad to Skype in with you before ship time. And even if I'm coming to you guys, I'm glad to do it, or he's glad to do it.
Yeah.
But I will have some FaceTime there too. We're trying to do at least the 2 cities, the West Coast, and then also the East Coast. So West Coast being Los Angeles at this moment. The other thing is that when you get your printer, it will print. We won't ship it if it doesn't print. We're printing. You can see the stuff we're printing, but some of you guys, like Brian Arendas, who prints for a living, he prints every day. He has a half dozen different types of printers.
Yeah.
When you see something that we've left out, man, let me know, because I don't want to be the guy who's got the hole in his features set. We really want to be making this easier and better and easier and better, and that's what this is, the mode we're changing now. So any of all feedback will be welcome, except for the one about printing chocolate. So just kidding, even that one will be great.
Oh yeah.
So,
yes. So, I guess the question that was brought up by John Hubbard was also about the spreadsheet. Yes, I have not been updating the spreadsheet on the website because we were waiting on we were being pulled on hold for making sure that the code was going to work and work up to our standards. And now that it's there, I can start updating this spreadsheet again and get the stuff showing. So you guys will see who's up, who's on deck, and who's been shipped, and who is shipping very, very soon.
Who's been shipped is a very small list. Should start growing.
Yeah. And when it comes to the shipping as well, all tracking numbers and stuff like that will be sent out to you via email at thehyrel3d@gmail.com. Please look out for it. I'm going to try to see if I can send it out through a couple different email addresses as well, because I've been getting word from a few people that when I've been doing the PayPal stuff and when I've been just sending out the emails back to everyone, it goes into their either, if you're using Gmail, it goes into their promotions folder versus their actual inbox. So I don't know why they have it that way, but or it goes directly into spam. So please keep that in mind. Yeah.
I see Powers USA asked a question. It says the vases that we've printed. You got the box full of stuff?
Yeah.
It says, are those layer by layer or are they continuous spiral? To the best of my knowledge, no one does a continuous spiral. They do a continuous print, but there is a layer change, i.e. a Z, up, around, up, around, up, around. And just so you know, when you go to these shows or you look at this and you see, oh my God, that's gorgeous. It is. It's beautiful. But this is also a cheat. It's a cheat because dispensing the material is important, and the quality of the texture here is quite impressive. All right, I mean, we're able to be very proud of that, no question.
Move it a little bit further this way.
There we go. Okay. However, once we started printing, the material never stopped flowing. So this wasn't like the Eiffel Tower where you're going to start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. So if someone shows you this on their printer, say, that's beautiful, and I see your printer flows nicely and it positions consistently. So that's what you prove from a print like this. The other thing is that if there was a slop in one of the axes, you wouldn't get this kind of uniformity out of it. No chance. So the thing of it is that as much as that was easy to do, because the XY positioning system is solid, that's a safe thing to say. But the start and stop is the thing we've been working. So the test of a printer, that's one good test. And if that doesn't print, don't buy it. I don't care who's making it. We're making it, don't buy it. But the real test of a printer is to go and print objects that have fingers like this, where you're going to put them down and go over and put them down and go over and look for the hairs between them. And yeah, we've got hairs on our prints still. We've been experimenting with the start and stop, and that's what drove us so hard, because we said, wow, it's so beautiful on the outside, and yet where it's going between the two platforms, we're getting lots of hairs. Well, we knew this would happen, and this has all been anticipated appropriately. And yes, you can get a razor blade and clean it up, but I mean, is that really the ultimate goal? And the answer is no. The ultimate goal is to have it clean. And it, by the way, that looks bad, but this cleaned up a lot better to where there was almost no hairs on it, just by changing some of the parameters that we had already.
Yep.
There's some things you can do with the Z-axis before you get ready to make a move, but we expect a start-stop that we're doing now to make a quantum leap forward. Everybody else that's done it has had a big result, and we're really excited because we have such a short piece of material that we're, hey, don't take that personally, we have a short piece of material that we're working with, and so the stretch and the lag is minor, very minor, and it allows us to have a real quick on-off mechanism.
It's like the spy world, smaller is better. So yeah, let's see. Didn't realize, U1J says, didn't realize how much of a valid test print that was until I tried it on a few. You're talking about, you're talking about the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, the Eiffel Tower is an impressive piece of printing because it starts with 4 bases, i.e. the feet of the Eiffel Tower, and then it builds them up and joins them together. So that first one is good because you got to build with, well, you better stick on each of those 4 places. But then you have to start and stop nicely, or you're not going to have enough to build your material on. So that's good. Also, the girders and structure look pretty cool. And then you get to the railing, and the railing is another thing that looks like a major challenge. Just saying. I've heard that some people have a lot of trouble with other technologies, like some of the STL technologies are not having as good of results. With one exception. I've heard the B9 creator, and I actually saw some stuff, does a phenomenal job on the Eiffel Tower. So kudos to that guy. He might be one of the leaders in this. He is one of the leaders in this. So whoever he is,
It's Michael Joyce.
Yeah,
Michael Joyce.
Right.
Excellent.
The spiral was there is a printing contest on Reddit that is a vase, and one of the entrant was talking about spiral prints. Huh.
Okay.
Well, I can do a spiral print, but
Oh wow. That's a pretty little vase there.
cool. Well, that's a nice link, although that's not a very big vase.
No. Just so everyone knows exactly what we're looking at right now. There you go. This is on Reddit. So, but Eagle 1J says actually the Eiffel Tower prints pretty bad on a Form 1. The B9 nails it. Form 1's peel mechanism breaks the tower. Oh, that sucks. And then the B9 slide just works better. I've gotten a good Eiffel Tower off of Form 1, but the B9 still does better.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. So,
wow, this is a nice forum.
it is a very nice forum.
You guys might want to check out that link. Did you put the link to them so they
The
can
Pure
see
Powers USA. It's
Yeah.
on Reddit.com, and I think everybody knows it's REDDIT.com. And it's underneath 3D printing comments. It's basically Reddit 3D printing contest is now live, and people are going back and forth as to what they can 3D print.
Well, someone said that their slice on one of these was like how long? You just had it there a second ago. You moved it was 17-hour print, 70-minute slice.
Yeah.
Wow, that's not very big.
No, it's not.
How did it take 70 minutes to slice?
I think it's because the finer the
Oh, the
layer
curves,
thickness
yeah.
and let's see what the layer thickness.
200
layer-
microns.
Yeah, 200 microns. There you go. 0.2.
3 parameters.
Yeah. This was the spiral print. Thank you, Powers USA, for sending that
Wow.
image to us. Photo bucket. Wow, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful print. It's a beautiful vase. Vase. So,
What's the? Wonder how tall it is. Because in the picture it looks short. It looks small.
yeah, it looks like
They
it's
put a
about
coin next to it.
Yeah, well, that was one of them. That was somebody doing it as small as they could go,
Okay.
which is this guy right here.
Sorry about that, guys.
So-
We're looking on another screen. We shouldn't be. That's bad manners. It's like playing video games when you're at dinner. So,
Sorry, guys. Slicing does take quite a bit of time. So
it can take a long time. I had one the other day that ran into the minutes, but normally our shapes are fairly straightforward. You know, one thing I'm seeing is that a lot of people are making boxes. They're printing little container boxes up. And so if anyone out there is interested in joining this, I feel like there is a huge need for an OpenSCAD app that actually allows you just to define the X, the Y, and then the height of the box, the wall thickness, and of course I'd put on some flanges for nailing it down or ellipse on it, just a couple check boxes to include it or not, and then automatically generate the cheat code so that we get no fill garbage, because, and I don't mean that irreverently, the problem is that there's all kinds of math going on when you lay down the different lines for the walls, and if the lines don't, if there's some leftover material, i.e. if you have a 0.5 millimeter width and there's 0.55 millimeters, then it goes up the middle, and it actually looks like a sewing machine while it's trying to do it. So it would be great to design knowing that this prints into this design, and it would allow you a little bit of what is the right word? What would allow you to design for manufacturability.
there you go. The Midnight Manufacturing Company says boxes are already out there.
But the boxes are not tied to the cheat code generator, and that's my point. My point is, it's one thing to have OpenSCAD create a box, but a second app needs to tie to that data so that it automatically creates the G code, so that the G code that feeds it, so you can have two viewers. One is the G code, i.e. the actual viewer like we get when we're on our viewer, the G code viewer, and you can see the the math errors go away. You can see it's perfect. And the other one is to do dynamic flow rates so that the fill zone can be overflowed a little bit rather than doing the zigzag. And that's the second thing. I know there's some guys out there working on that, but you can be sure if someone doesn't give us a good solution, we will be working on it before Christmas, because to me that's one of the biggest weaknesses right now is the way that the last fill, the last line of fill gets done. It really creates, what is the right word? It limits the speed the printer can run at, number one. And number two, it
well, Powers USA said it by far the best right there.
Yeah.
It skips the STL step.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry.
June Lee asks, like in the web design softwares, one pane to show the web page render and another to show the codes.
Yeah, or it's like the way Visual Studio Designer works. You just create it over here, and all the underpinnings go over on in another designer file, and that's exactly what happens. And
Design and then code. Yeah.
I believe that when you get to complex builds, that will help you a lot, because then you can start adding feature sets. You can watch your build. You can edit each of the items inside the build, each of the materials in the build. So it becomes more like you're doing a CAD model. Just as if you draw a CAD model, you go, okay, that's a box, and now I'm going to put a hole in it. Now I'm going to put some more holes in it. Now I'm going to add a boss to it. I mean, any of the CAD programs work off of a evolution tree. And so you can have the same thing, and it will be a printing evolution tree. And it will help you to see more accurately, but it will also give feedback back and forth. So if you go, okay, I want 1.72465 millimeter walls, it will say, okay, we have a checkbox down here, and it'll say discrete fill or calculated fill. And in discrete fill, it will actually do the ping pong back and forth. And in a calculated fill, or fudge factor fill, I'm going to call it the fudge fill, that's what we'll call it, we will overflow to increase the width of the material in that one fill zone. So, I know that sounds exciting, and it's very straightforward, so I see that working well.
Powers USA says, go from model to G-code directly, lower the impedance mismatch. And Julian says, even better is to be able to select the line of G-code and then highlight the corresponding point on the render and vice versa.
We can do that now. Actually, they do that. The thing that comes out of it, especially if you're working with Repetier or Repetrel, their viewer is actually pretty good. But if you try to view, say, 80,000 lines of code and you highlight one, their redraw time can be 5 to 10 seconds. So what I do is I say, okay, limit it to just this slice, and then I slide the slicer up and down, and then you're going to get pretty good responsiveness out of it. It's under a second. So as you highlight it, you'll see what it is. Matter of fact, it's 20, 30 lines a second. It's pretty good about responsiveness. If you're trying to identify some specific zone inside your build, don't try to view the whole build. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get it so that in the build it's transparent, and that you can slide a slider bar to see the different Z, and then once you get it there, you can click on it and go in and edit the specific slice. There is another thing that I'm testing this week. I knew what it was. Yeah, it came back to me. Sorry, you guys. We have had times, there's a silver lining to everything. So we've had times when the build would just stop.
Oh.
It was because of the acknowledge signal. It wasn't getting back, and that's why we told you guys we changed the acknowledge, and after that everything got better. But during those times, we said, wow, the print's halfway through. We don't want to throw it away. Let's start over again. And then we were trying to figure out easy ways to restart. So I made it so if you place the cursor in the editor box, you can just right-click and it starts right wherever the cursor is. Well, that was a great thing to do, and worked great. Okay, but it really wasn't an easy solution. So what I did was I made it so that you can jog the Z-axis, and it goes and looks up in the code so that it can find in the code where the head is. So basically you come over, put the head down to wherever the top of the material is, and it'll take you to that slice. And now it helps you find the slice. So I thought that was a pretty cool thing. Oh yeah, that was the restart. It started yellow.
And
changed to green.
So
Kermit the
I'm not sure if
Frog.
you guys can see this part right here. was able to do a full fill.
Yeah, as long as you don't take the build off the machine, and that'll actually be better when we have the keyed platforms, which I don't know why we haven't been using them. We've got them. So when you have the keyed platforms, the ones with the pins in them, then you can actually take it off and do whatever you want and come back. But that's why the Z is so important, because it lets you identify exactly where the code was at when it was stopped. And we just like that. So we need a fudge fill mode on the volcano. I see a recurring theme here, okay? Actually, I'll tell you something that happened to me today, because I didn't realize how much it was true. We were working with plasticine, and we've told everybody that if plasticine is stiff, heat it up because it gets a lot softer. I'm sure that's true with a lot of things, like the precious metal clay is probably the same way.
Yes.
So I was testing code from an ABS file, and I had edited it to get my different parameters. And we went off, and I got a sandwich with the family for 5:30ish tonight. It's our Sunday night sandwich. Jersey Mike's is awesome. Okay. I came back, and my plasticine was Lake Erie. It turns out that I'd left the heater on, and it was running about 75 degrees C, and it just went puddled out. So that brings up a good question, and that is, do I think plasticine will be a great support material? And the answer is not under those circumstances. However, the clay actually works quite good for the support material. So don't give up on us yet.
Yeah, the clay will just dry out.
Which is what we want, because it just rinses off that way. Yeah.
That's the air dry clay, not the plasticine or oil based clays. So just to be clear, I guess porcelain will work too. I gotta tell you guys, I mean, porcelain and the clays that are out there, they're very, very economical. I mean, we got a 25-pound bag worth of porcelain. It was like $13, $14.
Porcelain is an amazing material. I like it. Its consistency is so good, and it dries out so fast, so you can use it as a support material.
Yeah.
You put a fan on the porcelain, it's almost as dry, 30-40, dry enough to touch, 30-40 seconds right after it gets dispensed. So, depending on what your strategy is, and you can always use the evil plastic PLA if you need to. So, I'm sure there'll be lots of materials being developed over the years. We've already heard of quite a few other ones. So, sorry, I'm keeping the big guy up.
No. There's a few that we haven't tested just as of yet. Laywood, and there's also lay brick. We haven't tried those yet.
That's got to wear out the nozzle.
Yeah, which is like a sandstone.
I saw that. That looked awesome.
Oh yeah, and then there's PVA. We have not tried PVA yet, and we have not tried PET. That was the other one that we were trying to get to this week that we weren't able to. That's also known as the T-glass, and the T-glass from Talman. So, but we're pretty sure that we will be able to extrude with it.
Yeah.
We threw it in one of the nozzles.
If I'm not mistaken,
So-
I think Greg printed with T-glass this week, but we didn't do it. We, again, stayed on focused on the firmware. Except for that little 30-minute thing Thursday night when I played with the laser. Hey, does anybody want to see what the laser looks like all finished up?
Yeah, I'll show. Well, we can show them that. I'll go grab that guy. But I was gonna show them where the reason why we were working on the software is because it stopped in the middle of this guy.
Really?
Just a couple of literally.
Oh, that was a heartbreaker there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll grab them.
You guys can see it was almost finished. Just like 4 more layers to go. It's alright. It was good exercise for him. On a good note, Hutch has been printing like a maniac. Every day he's been running 2 and 3 printers simultaneously, and he has become a printing professional. And that's important because he's the guy who's going to be answering those phones. Oh yeah. So, no, I was just telling him that you volunteered to answer the phones for customer support. So now you're printing professional. Whatever he tells you might be real. So.
All right, guys.
There. All right, so there it is right there. And you guys are going to see that it's on a plastic block, and that has to be that way because the case runs at a negative voltage, believe it or not. So I will clean this up, and not today. Actually, Dave Sable is going to do a new board for us, and we're going to remount this all. And here's the good thing. I have no interest in selling this to anybody. I feel like it's underpowered and overpriced. If you try to go buy a 2.5 watt laser on eBay, you're still going to pay $200 to $400 for it.
Yeah.
I have arranged with some guys to build a 5 watt laser that we can sell as full, ready to go. $300 is our target price for the consumer. And that 5 watt laser is going to be a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The 5 watt laser, you're going to be able to cut into acrylic very slowly and not too thick, 1/8 inch acrylic maybe, but 1/16 for sure. And then I've got a 10 and a 15 watt laser in the same package. So they're more expensive, obviously. But
I want one. No, I want one. Okay, DeCosta.
I want one. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Yeah, there's
all right, great.
quite a few things in there. So it's the only thing is that we recommend them strongly for the System 30, and we recommend that you allow us to put in either a smoke or a blue acrylic, so that it's safer for you to use.
Yeah.
That's all. There's really, unless you're going on a mirror surface, there's almost no radiation hazard because the focus on this is very sharp. It only has a cutting range of about that far. But still, if you look directly into the laser, it would be very bad for you. So, we really feel like you need to follow good safety procedures for using it. We had a lot of fun playing with it for those 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
But might have been 35.
I would probably also add one more thing onto there, which is basically a release form, because some of these things are going to be open, and if you're going to be putting on your engine,
well, you can use it on your engine, or just get some glasses. It's not like it's going to cut your skin unless you're right there inside the thing, and you'll feel it. It gets nice and warm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, lasers are not toys, any more than a drill would be. You're going to go like this with a drill or put a drill in your eye, so don't put a laser in your eye.
You're not going to be able to play with the cat with this one.
You can pop balloons, though.
Yes.
Well, actually, I'm gonna point one thing out. The lens that's in here is actually massive.
Yeah.
And you can see that this lens is big, and that's the working part of it. It's just a single diode on the way inside. But that's a diode array. When you actually get this out of focus, it ends up giving you a series of lines. So if you get about a foot out of focus, you'll see the lines are different. Well, the reason why I bring up this huge lens right here for you is this one was designed for popping balloons. It really was. So what these guys did was, this is a laser where they like to do it for 20, 50 feet away. They're trying to make a long collimated beam. And so we don't work that way. We actually want a shorter working distance. So we have a different lens picked up. And the good thing about that is it will focus better. It will work at a shorter distance. We're trying to work at the bottom of the bed, so we're trying to go from 6 to 8 inches working distance on that. And, and these are all things that run off in the background. Right now, I really just thought since we were successful playing with it, we'd share it. It's not, right now it's the firmware is the thing. I'm going right back on it as soon as we get off.
Yep.
So we're probably going to cut it short in a few minutes here, unless there's any last minute questions. But
Greg said he printed with a T-glass here, and it says it's really, really neat stuff. Okay.
we look forward to printing with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have, as you guys probably saw in one of the earlier broadcasts, we do have it here. We just haven't gotten around to getting that going. But when you start getting heartbreaker prints like this, you really don't want to waste that material. So.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of other materials. So we're looking forward to printing in polypropylene, actually.
Oh yeah, polypro, yeah.
So, matter of fact, I should order that.
Yeah, there's also PFA. No.
PFA, but you don't want to print PFA.
No, not PFA. I guess I'm not thinking PFA. It's whatever the dissolvable material is. It's three letters.
That's not PFA. PFA doesn't dissolve in anything.
It might be. I think it is PVA. It's polyvinyl alcohol.
PVA.
That's right. Okay.
Is that the lime? It's
It looks like a natural color.
But it dissolves in the lime juice.
It dissolves in water. Actually.
Wow.
Yeah.